Hello YouTube. In this Warframe video, we will be discussing a few things. This video is to help beginners starting Warframe out, or just some people who don't know certain things about Warframe. Now, I'll be discussing 4 things. 1. What is Warframe? 2. What Warframe should I pick? 3. Modifications and equipment. And lastly, 4. Crafting. Each of these topics are very important on their own categories, and I will be going over them thoroughly. So, enough chit-chatter, let's begin. So, let's begin with number 1. What is Warframe? Well, to put it in my own words, or how they put it in their words, basically, Ninja's free-to-play. It's a good game. I really enjoy it. I mean, it offers a lot of things that you don't really see in a lot of free games lately. I don't really look on the aspects of free games. I just mean like it's a really interesting game in general, in my opinion, because your character that can go around, whether if you want to go in guns and blazons, or you just want to use swords, or you can use both. Not only that, they give you the the classes or Tenno or Warframes, which it's called. And give you the opportunity to go as your own playstyle, and that's what we'll be going over on number 2 on what Warframe you should pick. Okay, so moving on to number 2, what Warframe should I pick? Well, on this question for new beginners, they ask, considering that Warframe gives many different Warframes that you can play, but they all depend on your certain play style, like I was saying before. If you're a person that likes to just go and shoot up the place, guns and blazing, as I said before, you might want to suggest a tanky character, like Rhino or Frost. If you're looking for somebody stealthy, try Ash or Loki. But like I said, you should look at all the other characters, you should look at all of them and see how it affects your playstyle and how you want to play. Like I was trying to say before, Warframe offers very different types of gameplay that you can do, and it's not that hard to do. So let's just use an example. Let's say me. I'm a person that likes to be ahead of my enemy. I like to be able to go in the shadows, take out my enemies without any distraction, and go with ease on my missions. This is why I picked my character Loki Prime. Well, the Prime you don't really need to be interested in, but just the Warframe in general, Loki. Loki's very helpful. I modified him to where his invisibility can go on longer periods of time, so now I can just go throughout missions and just kill as many as I want. The best thing about it is, his skill set matches what I want. The invisibility has critical damage on all damages with melee weapons. So I'm just going up and slicing up the enemies as I want to, because I want to be able to shoot stuff, but I'm also very interested on melee too. So that also gives me an opportunity to do that without getting my butt chewed up by enemies. So because Loki Prime's set fits on what I like. So you can use that as an example of when you're picking your own Warframe to pick. Now, before I go into modification, let's talk a little bit about equipment. Now, equipment is very, very key in battle. When you're playing Warframe, like I said before, whatever fits your description on how you want to play your character, you have to pick your equipment wisely. Also, it doesn't matter. It matters on how you play, but it also matters on the scenario. For an example, there's certain types of things called infection, where you can fight off waves of infested beasts, animals, or whatever you want to call them. And the best choice of weapon you might want to pick is something that kills in large radiuses. Like, I forgot what it's called, but like it's a handgun rocket launcher basically, and it does a lot of explosive damage if you know how to modify it correctly, and it helps in that scenario. But when you're doing your own personal missions, yes, it's best to fit your strong suit, but then again, it also has to fit the environment that you're doing. This is why you should always have multiple weapons on you. Don't just be picky and have one particular weapon. Always have a weapon for every single thing. Be prepared for every single scenario, and also be ready for whatever task that may be ahead, whether it's fighting waves of enemies, capturing certain points, or eliminating enemies really quickly, or capturing a target, or setting free a target. Okay, topic number 3, modifications. Now, am I talking about modding the game? No. I'm talking about modifying your systems to its full potential. Now, sorry for that. Now, when I'm talking about modifications, I'm talking about adding bonuses to your weapon that can bring out the full potential of your weapon. Like modifications as in fire damage, frost damage, poison damage, blast radius, and modify it so that they all come together. So you can make like gas damage or radiation damage, or just pure damage in general, critical damage. Modifications are a very important part of when you're playing Warframe. So when you get a higher level and when you play the game more, you'll start to understand on how much modification can get involved when you're playing the game. Now, don't just think that it's just for weapons. When I'm talking about modifications, I'm thinking of everything. It's when it comes to your Sentinel, to your Warframe in general, and to your weapons. But all of them are important in all their own groups. Like increasing your shield capacity so you can take more hits to your shield, health capacity even higher, and do some extra things. But the important part about modifications is the skills, because each Warframe has its own skills. When you get levels within your weapon or Warframe, you get certain points, and depending on how many points you have is depending on how many modifications you can put on, and the count that the modification has. The modification will have a count on the corner of that modification card, and it will tell you how much it uses. If it's rare, it'll probably use more, but the more that you increase that modification, the higher energy that it uses. But I'm not going into that right now. So let's move on to topic number 4. Now, number 4 is crafting. Crafting is very simple, but very difficult at the same time. You can buy blueprints from the store on whatever weapon you want. As much as people say it's pay to win, it's true. It can be pay to win. If you put in the money, you'll get everything you want without the cost of time and effort. You can just get everything you want. But crafting helps in general, because everything that's in there you can build yourself. You can make it yourself. All materials can be found on different planets. Different planets give you different materials for different weapons. Also, different blueprints that you can get from different bosses. Bosses drop Warframe blueprints, and you use those blueprints to make your Warframe. So that should cover everything about crafting. It's very simple, and it's not that difficult to do. Just make sure you know, and if you're not sure, you can always look it up on the wiki, and you can always find whatever you need. Now, number 4 is crafting. Crafting is very simple, but very difficult at the same time. You can buy blueprints from the store on whatever weapon you want. As much as people say it's pay to win, it's true. It can be pay to win. If you put in the money, you'll get everything you want without the cost of time and effort. You can just get everything you want. But crafting helps in general, because everything that's in there you can build yourself. You can make it yourself. All materials can be found on different planets. Different planets give you different materials for different weapons. Also, different blueprints that you can get from different bosses. Bosses drop Warframe blueprints, and you use those blueprints to make your Warframe. So that should cover everything about crafting. It's very simple, and it's not that difficult to do. Just make sure you know, and if you're not sure, you can always look it up on the wiki, and you can always find whatever you need. Sorry for leaving 4 at such a short notice, but I have to end the video short. Thank you for watching my video. I'll hopefully upload more videos, but I really hope this video has been very helpful to those starting off or just need a few tips or boosts when they're playing. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.